We've heard about, what it is, how it works, accountability, metrics, how we got into the program. Obviously we're selective about who even on our team will be on that program. So it really is the people who are wanting to make this their career, their job, really want to build their book of business. So let's talk about that. How have both of you used Zillow leads in general to build your books of business? I'd love to start with you, Bill.
When I started in this business, Zillow was kind of new, at least they weren't new as a website, but I didn't, comparatively new, right? And so I knew who they were, but I didn't know like how they made money. And then I quickly found out that they made money by selling leads to agents. And so I was totally on board because that's exactly what I needed, leads. So, so that was good. And so taking these perfect strangers, what's nice is when you're brand new, your mother knows that you're not very experienced in real estate, and all of your friends know that you're not experienced in real estate. And so anybody that is sort of in your sphere of influence knows that you may not even be very good at this, right? Perfect strangers have no idea. I mean, leads that come from Zillow, just, hey, he's on Zillow, he's my agent. Okay, that's great. And so it's much easier to present yourself as an expert in real estate. Chances are you do know a lot more than them anyway, because they don't know you, right? So it's a real blessing when you're starting out in real estate to work with perfect strangers. I think Dave agrees with that too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, 100%. Because when I first got started, and I think you had mentioned this earlier about your sphere, regardless of how big it is and how many people you know, like you just hit on, you're inexperienced as a new agent, and so there is a level of confidence building that needs to occur before you're going to feel very good about helping your family and friends. And not to say that you're not going to give fantastic service to these complete strangers. That would be against what we are just talking about if you were to suck for them. But it does take a little bit off your plate. And so when I joined your team, Bill, or our team, I was fresh, right? And I did have a big sphere. I knew quite a few people from my previous work. And yet I still just did not have the confidence of, hey, I'm a brand new agent. I really just need a softball a little bit to get going, because I don't feel confident in myself that I know what I'm talking about when we go through these things.
I'm having such a hard time picturing you not being a confident person.
Yeah, thank you.
It's really hard.
These things,
I can give you an example. I can give you an example of this. When I met Dave, one of the first appointment we went on together was I think the parents of a close friend. I'm not quite sure exactly how you knew them, but Dave had gone in. He had already promised them to discount his fees like substantially by something like 40 or 50%. And so that's how, because he didn't have the confidence to say that I'm actually worth what I charge.
Yeah, I mean that's great. Yes, I did, and not knowing any better. And again, I mean, maybe at that time that was warranted because I wasn't necessarily a great agent and I didn't know what I know now. And a lot of that obviously comes from years of experience. That is half the knowledge that you gain. But there is a level of everyone has to start somewhere. And so if you don't have an avenue to get that kickstart, you're going to squander a lot of time. And I did. I mean, that's the tough thing about it is, joining Bill was not my first foray into real estate. I spent 6 months with another firm and loved them, great people, but I just did not have any avenue to get things going. And so Bill recruited me and gave me this promise, and I was like, all right, let me see how it goes. And thank God I did. But yeah, I mean, and that is how I grew my business substantially, because the flip side of it too, even if you do have a big sphere, and I think this is what you were kind of mentioning earlier, Bill, even if you do have a bigger sphere, they're not always going to be ready to go. And the beauty of having Zillow and a constant lead source of ready and active buyers is that you could supplant what hopefully is a business that is mostly your sphere with constant leads. And one of the nice things that we do at Spotlight is that those leads from Zillow, once you've converted them and you put them under contract and you close, well, now they're sphere leads. And a lot of teams don't do that. A lot of teams will hold on to that lead indefinitely. That's always ours. That's not what we do. We want all of our agents to build their books just like I did, like I was able to. We hope that you never leave. But if you did, the fact is that is your lead, and we want you to grow that business because sphere is what it's all about at the end of the day. The best way to build that is going to be through constant lead source.
I love
Yeah,
that.
so I think,
So good.
Anna, the question you asked at first was how have we built our business? How do we use leads to build our business? How does one use leads to build our business? And
Right.
Dave's touching on an important point here, that the idea behind it, because when you get a lead, if you convert them once and then have one transaction with them, that's
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
But it's not what you're after. What you're after is making these perfect strangers who are moving to town or who need a real estate agent become part of your sphere. So soon,
Clients for
like
life.
the clients for life, and they're friends. They become friends and family. Not family
Right.
often, but I'm sure it's happened. Never. But I want to show you something just to illustrate
Yeah, we have a
this.
graphic, right? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see I started buying. I don't know if you can see my mouse.
Yes.
Okay.
I can. Yes.
Okay. This is where I started buying Zillow leads in 2011 and went reasonably well, did maybe $500,000 worth of leads. And it jumped way up in 2012. 2012, I did something like 32 transactions, and 17 of them came from leads, from leads that I bought from Zillow.
So that's the blue, right? The blue is
So that's
actually
the blue,
lead
right?
coming in. Okay, from Zillow.
Yeah, the blue is just the initial contact, the initial lead transaction. So if I did one transaction with every lead that I got,
Yeah.
this blue line over the course of time would be, how big my business was.
So it's still
You see,
not bad, but yeah,
it's
just from
not
that.
terrible, but it would have been, $3 million or so, average around $3 million a year.
Sure. Okay.
If we put onto that so if you do a good job of adding them to your sphere and keeping in touch with them and making sure you stay in close contact with them, that they would never dream of going for anybody else, then you start to see repeat business. So there's repeat business doesn't happen right away, because
Right.
when somebody buys a home, they don't typically sell it within a year or two, but eventually, there's a momentum to this business, and you see this orange space is the repeat business that I've gotten. And then on top of that, they will occasionally, and if you work it right, they will often refer you to their friends and family.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then there's this gray area, which is that. So growing from about $3 million per year just from leads consistently to 6.5 from leads and the other transactions that happen with those very same leads.
So doubling your volume.
Yeah, doubling your volume. And this is where you're getting to be. Now you're starting to make a pretty decent living, right? So, and this is, by the way, this doesn't count anybody who was actually in my sphere before. This is just how business grew. So you could see going from here to here, based on leads, even though the leads themselves were pretty flat. So I think that's really
stay consistent. I mean, there's only so many leads that can go around and that come in, but what you're doing is building on top of it. So for every lead that you've got, when you've joined Zillow Flex or joined our team, they really do, like this graph shows, build on each other. And so the amount of referrals that I've gotten from past Zillow clients, it's astronomical. I wish I had my own graph that I could show you. I don't.
Maybe you should make one.
We can come up with that. We could totally come up with that.
Yeah, we could. But it really, it's wild to see how much my business has grown, and that's due in no small part to the ability to supplant it, like I said, with a consistent, but honestly a very, very, very good lead source, because we have tried almost all of them, and
these are the best.
But there's
nothing really comes close. And Realtor.com are pretty good, but they're not quite the same. Not quite the same. There's high intent in this. And by the way, I wanted to point out that again, you can only get Zillow Flex leads. You can only get Zillow leads now if you're part of one of 12 teams in the triangle. But if you were to join us, if an agent joins our team, we teach them not just how to convert leads. We teach them how to make that graph theirs. We teach them how to keep in touch, and we not only teach them, we make it super, super easy. So you don't have to think about it. You just have to. It's almost like a set it and forget it kind of thing, except for phone calls.
Except for that, you got to actually work, and that's part of the accountability. That
work to get paid. What?
That's
awesome.
crazy talk.
Crazy talk. Absolutely preposterous. No, I love that though. I have witnessed that so many times where brand new agents come in, they're sort of like, help me. And we just give them these tools and they're like, whoa, I can do this. And within a year or two, they've gained so much confidence. They've built their own book of business. They're having repeat success. They're getting referrals. So all of that is so, so great. We should make a graph for each one of our agents.